In this lesson, we'll talk about various string methods. A method is a function that belongs to an object. Here we can see two new terms, function and object. A function in computer science is a group of statements that perform specific tasks. A method is a specific function that is associated with an object and is owned by it. But what is an object? An object is an instance of a data type. For instance, when we assign an integer 7 to a variable called an int, we created an integer object with a value of 7. When we assign a float 5.57 to a variable called a float, we have created a float object with a value of 5.57. When we assign a boolean true to a value called a bool, we have created a bool object with a value of true. And likewise, when we assign a string hello world to a variable called a string, we have created a string object with a value of hello world. We'll learn more about object and function later on. However, what makes a string different from other data types we've learned in this course? The answer is string is a collection. A collection is a group of smaller objects. A string object is a collection of single characters. For example, a string hello world is a collection of the following individual strings. In this section, we'll discuss further on various actions you can perform on string collections. Also, in subsequent lessons, we'll also examine more advanced collections that can be useful in your future project. But first, let's talk about methods. The string method has many methods that can be useful when programming. These methods are a set of tasks that Python can perform on a string object. Interestingly, in this lesson, we examine various methods of string objects and possible way to change and return the same value. Let's start with a few examples. To call a method for an object, simply type the variable name associated with the object, followed by a dot, and then method name with a parenthesis included. To do this, let's start with the capitalize method. Calling the capitalize creates a new string with the first character of the string as an uppercase. If the first character is already an uppercase or it is not a letter, a new string will be created with the same as the original string. Now let's write some code to demonstrate what we've been talking about. First, to start, I'm going to declare my first variable, which is going to be a string. Then we're going to give it some value. Let's just say Python. Then coding. You can just say 1, 2, 3, then exclamation. So let's try to print this and see what we get. If I say print, then I call the string. I'm just going to run it. If I say run, you can see the value that we get, which is cool. So now let's try to call the capitalize method and let's see what we get. So we can just say new string, then we call the string with our period, the dots, then we call the capitalize. Then we have our parentheses. Now, if we try to print again, let's just have the new string. And let's see what we get if we run the F5. Now, you can see the difference. So you're saying capitalize the sentence, which just takes the first letter here and just capitalize the first letter. Pretty much cool. How about we take another example? Let's look at the lower method. In fact, I'm just going to say capitalize method. Let's check the lower method. So let's take it down. We can just call this lower string. Let's copy this and just replace with this as well. So looking at this, we just need to change this to lower. So what the lower string does is it just converts every string to lowercase. Let's see how that works. You can see it converts everything to lowercase, right? So if there's no uppercase, the string will return the actual original string. In other words, if it loops through and check if there's no uppercase, it's still going to return the same value. How about we check the uppercase method? I'm just going to copy all of this and call it upper. So we can just call this upper, and this as well, upper. Of course, you can already guess right that we need to change this as well to upper. In fact, let's just distinguish this. Let's call it upper method, just for us to differentiate them. Now, if we run it, the F5, something is wrong. String object has no attribute upper. What could be the case? Let's see what we are doing. It should be double P. Yes, it should be double P. Let's correct all of this. Let's run it again and see. Yep. In fact, I think I'd like to just put my column here. If I run it, yeah, you can see converted all the string to uppercase. Pretty much cool, right? So let's see if we can see other method. We can also check if we have digits in the string. Let's duplicate this as well. I'm just going to, let me leave more space here. So let's ask if it's digits. So by calling its digits, checks if the string value is only composed of digits. Let's see what we get. So we're going to say is digit is digit. So which means as well, you just have to say is digit. Is digit here as well. Let's just copy this and bring it here. If I save it and run the F5, you can see it's returning false. And the reason is simple, because we have other text on the string here. Okay, how about we declare new variables here and we say only digits, and we just call it 1, 2, 3. Even though we can make it string 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try to duplicate this, or let's just even replace this. Let's just replace the string variable with only digits, and let's see what it returns to us. If I run it, F5, you can see that we have the value of true. And the reason is because we are just referencing a variable that has only digits in the string. We can also do more. So let's say we want to declare another variable that has digits. Let's say we want to mix it with ds, exactly. So let's even bring this here, and let's bring this here as well. So let's just copy this variable and have it there. So what we're checking here is we want to check if it has digits. Okay, I think we need to, okay, the only way we can do that here is let's also copy the print function. Yes. So we're checking if this has digits alone and if this is digit alone as well. So let's, okay, I think let's do this as has digits. In fact, let's leave it like this. Okay, we just leave it like this. For run it, you can see this is returning false because it contains other letters, not just digits. Now this is true because it only has digits. Pretty much, you can see how it's possible for you to understand what the user is typing, and you can always take actions whenever you want. And that's how we'll wrap it up for today. In the next lesson, we're going to be looking at other methods that you can still perform on the string. If you have any question, leave it on the comment section and follow us on all our social media handles. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that right now so that you can be notified every time we release a new tip. Until tomorrow, I'll see you in the next one.